All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. Let's talk today about maybe why your offer isn't converting at a rate that it should, why you're not cutting through the noise, why you're not grabbing people's attention. Maybe you're putting out a lot of content and it doesn't seem to convert. So, Kim and I are working on putting together our entire framework. I'm going to show that to you in a near episode, actually. We call it the content to customers method, and it's our three-phase process of how we help people build a content marketing system, all the way from putting out content to building your initial funnels that you need to convert people into customers to running ads. But a big part of that is what I'm going to show you here today. And I've mentioned in previous videos, I've actually done a video on this in the past. I'm going to revamp it because I feel like it requires an update. But it was a concept made famous by Eugene Schwartz, an OG direct response marketer. And most of what we do today, just so you're aware, is more of like brand awareness marketing. And I'm going to show you why, as a smaller business, somebody that doesn't have $30 million a month to spend in marketing, why that doesn't really work. So we're going to go through each level of sophistication. I'm going to explain what it is, and then I'm going to give you some ideas about what you can do in your specific market to cut through the noise as it works. So let's take a look here. All right, so what you'll see is this nice inverted triangle, right? And we're going to go through each one. So you have unaware, problem aware, solution aware, you aware, and deal aware. Okay, so you're probably wondering, I don't know what that means, but sounds interesting. So let's start with unaware. So an unaware market for many people, like let's say that the first time you heard about metaverse, or the first time you heard about, think of a concept like a blockchain, cryptocurrency, right? Like newer, like cutting edge products or services. It could be services as well. That you're unfamiliar with, right? So I'm thinking of like some medical things that might be kind of out there, you know what I mean? Like stem cell, like you kind of have an idea of what it is, but you have no idea. So if you're in an unaware market, if you're in a very like cutting edge market where you're offering something that's brand new, like nobody's really heard of this thing, here's the problem. You're probably not going to attract a lot of people until you're able to explain what the heck it is, right? And why they should care. And we'll talk about the inverse relationship with people that are in a saturated market where it is an established product and how and why that looks different. So in an unaware market, meaning the market is unaware, largely speaking, of this specific thing, right? What you're going to do is most of your marketing message is going to meet people with where they're at. Like, so it could be a brand new way to do X, right? And then what you're going to do with most of your messaging is you're going to educate people on this brand new thing that you've created, this new cutting edge technology, a new way to solve a certain problem. So keep in mind when I'm explaining these, it doesn't mean that there's only exclusive elements of unaware messaging. You may cite a problem. What really dictates is how much time you spend explaining each one of these aspects, right? So it doesn't mean you're never talking about your solution. Obviously, that doesn't make sense. You're going to talk about your solution. We're talking about levels of awareness here, right? That's all we're talking about. So when you're in an unaware market, the vast majority, let's put a number to it, this is just spitballing, but like let's say 80% of the time you spend is going to be on educating. What is a metaverse? Well, here's what it is. You're going to talk about why it matters. You're going to talk about how you could run a webinar, right? If you host webinars, like in a virtual classroom, and everybody comes in the metaverse with their Oculus goggles on, and that's right. Now you can do it in person, and that's the big benefit of, instead of looking at a flat screen, you're actually immersed, right? So see, I'm talking about the product, but I'm doing it after I educate people on what the heck a metaverse is, but connecting it to why they should care. You always have to connect it to why people should care. So most of you are not going to be in an unaware market. It's super rare that you are, unless you're here and maybe you're raising venture capital because it's like some brand new concept, then you would be in that category. But most of you are probably not going to be there. Majority of you are going to be between problem and solution aware, by and large, right? And we'll talk about why. So let's go to problem aware. Problem aware is when people are aware of a specific problem, deeply aware of a specific problem, but they may not be super familiar with solutions that exist for their specific problem. So let me give you an example of that. So my wife and I recently, unfortunately, discovered that due to poor construction and practices in our home, it's a brand new home, it's 2 years old, then unfortunately led to some mold situation, some mold issues. So I'm deeply aware of that problem that I'm experiencing, but I've not dealt with this before. I'm not aware of I didn't even know what the word mold remediation was. I just was unfamiliar with that, but I am aware of the problem I'm experiencing, right? Super aware of that. So if you're in a market where maybe people aren't aware of a problem until they encounter something in life, this would be the particular example of that. So what you're doing is most of your content is going to interface in a way that speaks to the problem they experience, and then you introduce your solution. what people do, and let me give you an example, they'll talk about their solution, but they're not meeting people where they're at. Because where they're at is they're at problem, right? If they're unaware, you have to grab them with some kind of hook about why they should care to even listen to what you have to say. Problem aware, you're meeting them with the problem that they're experiencing, but they're unaware of solutions. Because otherwise they're searching for solutions because they already know that solutions exist. So I hope that kind of makes sense here. And if you need to go back and rewatch this and kind of sit on it and jot some ideas and drop it in the comments, please do, because it's super important that you nail this. I would say most people, I have a client, for example, he was presenting a problem-aware message, right? So it's a particular service in the health field. Let's call it a massage therapist. It wasn't, but let's call it that. And so what happens is that when there's 10,000 massage therapists, right, they're all aware of that. They're all aware of massage therapy. There's not like, oh, I have back pain, let me get a massage therapist, right? It doesn't make any sense. So he was leading with, problem, but not differentiating his solution in a solution-aware messaging market, right? So let's talk about solution-aware then. So we talked about problem, right? The mold example. Let's talk about this. So the massage example would be you need a solution-aware messaging. Many of you, this is where you are. I would say probably 90% of you are going to be here, is in the solution. You need a good solution-aware message. So the massage therapist, let's stick with that one. So how is your massage therapy practice different? Are you the top rated? Do you have the most reviews? These are all discernible differences for your particular product, right? Or your service in this case, right? Do you use a certain methodology that's different? Are you holistic, right? Do you use natural ingredients? Right? Meaning you don't put toxic chemicals on people when you do their massage. Again, I'm making this up, guys. I don't even know if this is real. I'm just making this up. Is it like more of a co-work situation where you get a massage and you work with busy people and so you provide a co-work space? Like you're probably thinking of like certain gyms, like the Collective, right? That's what they do now. It's a co-work / like CrossFit style gym. And it's like a club. Like people hang out and work there and they have beer on tap and they have, it's like a pretty cool environment that people that were working from home were missing being around other people. So they created a differentiated offer and a solution aware. Now you're providing something for someone specific in relation to just being another gym. So that's the important takeaway here is who are you? Why are you different? And why should your person care about that? And that's where it's really important. We talked in the last video that I recorded, we talked about making sure that you know who your person is, making sure you know who your ideal client avatar is. When you don't know who that is, you don't know how to present a message that actually resonates that person cares about. Right? So thinking back, as the first example comes to mind, right? Like think Daymond John and FUBU, like for us, by us. Like he made it for a specific culture, and that was the entire aim of that. And people rallied around that. They developed affinity around that. But you don't know that until you know who your person is, right? And then you have that differentiated offer. And maybe some of the clothing line that Daymond made, I'm assuming it was, but it represented what those people, how they wanted to present themselves. The style and the fashion that reflected the culture that they lived in, right? That's now solution aware, because you're presenting something that resonates with those particular people over other options they have to choose from. There's always some new niche. There's always some new blue ocean that you can tap into. You just have to figure out how you're presenting that message. Here's why that matters, right? Let's say you're putting out a video on YouTube and you're just talking, you're just yet another therapist. You're just yet another naturopath. You're just yet another, and you're not speaking with any kind of differentiation about how you solve the problem. Well, here's what happens in solution-aware markets. One, everybody's heard of it before. So it's not novelty, right? And so maybe they've tried something before to reconcile their problem and they've been unable to do so. They've been unsuccessful at doing so. Or they feel like, yeah, I've already tried that. I already spent money on it. It didn't work, right? That's usually the case. Or there's not a distinguished reason as to why they should choose you over somebody else. And you're not presenting that. So with many options, you let the user determine why and how they're going to go with somebody. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe they like your personality. Maybe they watch your video and they resonate with you. Maybe it's an age identifier. Maybe it's a gender identifier that they're like, I like that it's a male. I want to go to that person. Or gynecologist, I want my gyno to be a female. So her. She's a top rated. She's within 5 miles and she's a female. Those are 3 important criteria. But you're letting them dictate those terms. So maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't. But what I'm suggesting is that you be overt in all of those layers, in addition to how you render the service, in what ways that's different. That tweak alone, and I'm sticking on this one for a minute because it's really important, because again, most of you are here, like 90% of you are here. When you don't do that, again, you let the user dictate the terms, you're not overt about it. Critically important, right? But the other factor is this, you don't necessarily, this is when you start just putting noise out to the internet. There's no different. I don't want to say you're wasting time, but you're somewhat wasting time putting out. I don't mean to be mean, but you're somewhat wasting time as far as the content that you put out, because you're not signal, you're just noise in many cases. And so when you have signal and you know who you're speaking to and you're speaking to that person with clarity, you get deeper faster with that person. You develop a relationship, and relationship and trust is the fastest path to creating a sale and the fastest path to creating a super fan. So if you attract the right person with the right messaging, and then you render the service or the product at a level that meets their expectation, now super fan. Now your LTV takes off. So not only you're cutting through the noise, your marketing is going to really be dialed in. It's going to take you, you're going to have to reach less people to get more money, more sales, right? But also when you start running ads, now you know exactly who you're trying to attract. So you're going to build out your audiences according to that, meaning who you're targeting with your ads. It's going to cut through the noise. You're not going to just be putting out noise into the ether with your ads and wasting money. It's going to convert. And we see that all the time, where we'll see conversion metrics go through the roof in terms of engagement with the ad, but also clicks to the website and sales when we just make this one tweak alone. It's that important. It makes that much of a difference. So the client that I was referencing that I allude to as massage therapist, he's not, but he has a local business. And he went from 800,000 in revenue to now 1.1 to 1.2 range in a year. Now that's a big increase in revenue, and the goal this year is 1.5. We haven't even gotten into advanced strategies yet. We haven't built out elaborate sales funnels. We've barely scratched the surface on ads. All we did was this right here. He was in a market where there was not solution-aware differentiation. We created that with his messaging, and it ignited. And here's what happened. Not only is the content converting at a higher tick, we changed the website to reflect more so what the service was and why it was different than other services. So now the conversions are better on the website. And the people, right, the current clients went nuts. They started referring all their friends. You've got to try this. It is insane. They're doing this unique thing. It's insanely better than what the other players in the market are providing. So their referrals went through the roof. So they went from charging, I think, about $800 on average for a customer to now up to like $3,000. Massive increase, over tripled what they're charging, and people are more fired up than ever because they have differentiation. So it will bleed all the way through into your retention in a lot of cases in terms of customer satisfaction, because again, you're calling out who you're for and why that matters. And when you deliver on that, super fans. That's literally the fastest track to creating that. And then referrals as a beneficiary. So no more marketing was done, and yet that amount of increase in actual revenue. Pretty wild, right? Now, once we start amplifying that with ads, I always say that ads are just gasoline on the fire. We've already created the fire. Now it's a matter of giving gasoline to the fire, because it's not about the bro hacking ninja strategies of running ads. It's about amplifying what's already working. Now that we've got some of it's working, we can do that, right? Okay. Last two, and these are less likely you, but let me tell you how it works within just the general theme of the landscape, right? So you have you aware and deal aware. So you aware is people that are already familiar with you, right? If you're Arby's, it's we have the meats. Like that, they don't have to say anything more, right? Everybody knows Arby's. Like, it's not a thing that people don't know. So they don't have to tell you solution aware, right? And it is a solution aware message, because they are saying we have the meats, which is interesting. But by and large, it's brand awareness, right? You couldn't put up an ad and just say, I'm so-and-so, and that's it. And people would know who you were. They wouldn't know that. It doesn't mean mean, it's just reality. If you're a therapist, let's say, and Headspace, I think it's Headspace, maybe one of those Better Health or whatever the online services are for therapy, you probably know what I'm talking about. All they have to do is say Better Health or Better Help or whatever, and that's it. That's all they have to do. That's an established brand. People know who that is. They just have to amplify that message with brand awareness, which is really cheap, and they can do it at scale. But if you're just a local, or you're just a solopreneur doing therapy online, you're going to have to say why you're different, and then you could use BetterHelp to say you're getting the personal touch and you get 30 minutes, not just texting all day long, right? Like, see how you're differentiating your solution by comparing it to something else that's already in the market. Right? We call it throwing stones. There's a way to do it. There's a right way to do it, the wrong way to do it. That's more of a right way to do it. Like some of the online apps, you only get text message and you don't get dedicated time, and they're working with 120 people and they don't even remember who you are. We're here to work with you, personal, one-on-one basis, in person, whatever. And that's your value proposition, right? So critically important that you get that part. Okay, so you aware, it's just brand awareness. And then deal aware would be like, remember when Domino's, I think it was Domino's, did the like 555 deal. So it was 3 pizzas for $15. Like, you're just amplifying what your deal is. Everybody knows who you are. You're already solution aware. You're already problem aware. People know they're hungry, right? Like you could skip all that, right? If Domino's was new, they would have to say why their pizza is different. So they would be solution aware, but everybody knows who Domino's is. So they're you aware. In fact, all you have to do then is just remind them of the deals you have going on. So most of the big brands, they run just you aware or deal aware messaging. usually in some conjunction with one another, right? Hey, Bud Light, right? Like they don't even talk about the product. Everybody knows who Bud Light is, so they run funny stuff. It's just brand awareness, you aware messaging, right? So hope that helps. If you have any questions in the comments, drop that below. If you want to know how this applies to you and you're like, I really need that differentiated message. I'm tired of putting messages out or content out that's not resonating, it's not engaging people, and they're not becoming customers, which is the most important part, right? Is that they're becoming customers. Make sure you can schedule a discovery call. You can join one of our coaching programs if you're interested in that. We have both group coaching and one-on-one coaching. So if you want to check that out, it's risk-free. It's zero cost. You can just put in an application and schedule a discovery call with us to see if it's a good fit and see if we can help you grow your business via smart content marketing. So our content to customers method is helping tens of thousands of entrepreneurs and small business owners, specifically online, all over the world. And we'd love to talk to you as well. While you guys are here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more, hit the bell for notifications. And like I said, drop me a comment below and we'll see you in the next one.